Hi everyone, I'm Vinod and welcome to Career Board. Today's conversation is going to be about two topics. The firstly is hierarchy within the product manager job families. We'll talk about what a typical progression in career looks like, and we'll also talk about the typical compensation you can expect by working in India as a product manager. So let's jump straight in. If you look at the product manager career path, it pretty much begins as a new hire or as a person moving from a different discipline or a function like engineering or software development into being a product manager. So most people begin as either associate product managers or junior product managers and work their way upwards. So they then race on to become a product manager, senior product manager, project leader, maybe a director, a senior director, and that's how their career progresses from one step to the other. Typically, the career stops when they reach the level of, say, a VP. And if you're lucky, you may actually progress to become, say, a chief product officer or a chief technology officer, but that's pretty rare. But let's get into each one of these positions and what that means. Let's talk about the junior roles as a junior product manager or as an associate product manager. Facebook has a role called RPM, Rotational Product Managers, and that's really an entry-level role. So in these positions, what happens is that uh, you are looking at people coming from very different disciplines to be a product manager. You could either be from customer service, you could be a business development manager in your past, and then you rise on to become a product manager. You could have begun a career as a program manager for managing projects, more of the tactical implementation of projects. Or you could have been working in marketing as a marketing manager, maybe analytics manager. You could have worked in operations as a project manager. You could have worked in engineering as an engineer. And over time, when you want to shift to being a product manager, you pretty much enter an entry-level product manager position. So what happens is that in a big company, they tend to have these positions where you tend to have some experience before you get in, but there are also a lot of companies which recruit straight from college and put you into the role of entry-level product manager. So your role is mostly assisting product managers with their roles and responsibilities. You'll be doing a lot of market research. You'll also be gathering a lot of product requirements, looking at competitor analysis and so on. The pay ranges for this position in India is typically around an average of 7.6 lakhs per year. High compensation for such roles is around 9 lakhs. That's good compensation. And you pretty much would not expect to get more than around 10 lakhs for an entry level product manager position because you're tending to gain a lot of experience and then you have to prove yourself that you're good in your job. The next position is actually that of a product manager, where you spend a couple of years as an entry level junior or associate product manager, 3 years, and then become a product manager. This position, again, you be working on determining customer needs, you'll be defining the product vision and roadmap, and you'll be working with the product team and with cross-functional teams. Challenging projects, you'll be pretty much handling work which nobody else wants to handle, the tricky work for which there are no easy solutions. The pay ranges for India is an average of 11.5 lakhs or 12 lakhs for a product manager position. A good package is typically around 14 to 15 lakhs. And the maximum for this position as a product manager is around 16 to 17 lakhs. And the reason why the product manager position is very valued, but again, does not get enormous pay because you're still learning on your jobs. You're still helping others make decisions. You're not making the critical decisions yourself. That's where the role of the senior product manager becomes important. Now, senior product manager can have different designations. You could be entry level senior product manager. You could be somebody who has been in the job for many, many years. But ideally, a product manager with 3 to 5 years experience becomes an entry level senior product manager. Here, you're managing product managers. You're looking at collaboration across teams. You're also looking and developing the product strategy. So the director, senior directors are going to frame the product strategy and you're going to be helping them. So because the role is more critical, you have a more responsibility for this role. Your starting package, an average, is probably going to be around 22 lakhs per year. A high pay for this position is around 26 lakhs. And you typically don't expect to get more than 30 lakhs for this position across India. The senior product managers, after spending a couple of years, then they become an experienced senior product manager. This is where the roles get a little diffuse. They're not very clearly demarcated. You could also end up being called a product leader for that matter. And when you are a product leader, you're basically helping the directors, the VPs of your company in terms of creating product strategy. You're going to be owning more of the product vision. There is more power to you for making hires. You're going to be owning a certain process in terms of product development, in terms of improving things. So this role has to be well versed in terms of managing people and expectations. There's a lot of management roles you get into. So it's not just a pure technical role, but also more management roles, which is a piece of this designation. And the pay ranges, you're talking about 26 to 27 lakhs as an average compensation. A high compensation for a senior product manager with lots of work experience is around 33 lakhs, 32 to 33 lakhs. And the maximum you can get paid at this level is around 37 to 38 lakhs. Now, this is where things get very interesting because as a senior product manager, you could spend many, many years in that position before you go on to become, say, a director. So you can spend 7 to 10 years in that position. If you take a company like Amazon, there are people who spend 10 to 20 years working in the same position because it's almost impossible to be a director. So this can be a role which will be career limiting in terms of you can spend your entire career here. But ideally, after you have probably around 7, 8 years of maybe 5 to 6 years of work experience, if not more, you will then get into being a senior product leader and you could still be called a senior product manager. And here you're owning the product vision and direction. You are hiring the same roles as we mentioned earlier in terms of helping the business in terms of building the products. But the pay for these roles are also much higher. You're talking about average compensation of 35 lakhs. The high pay for this role is around 45 lakhs, and a maximum pay is around 52 lakhs for this position. If you're lucky, if you're very good in not just technically, but also in terms of people management skills, then you could become a product director. So the product director moves away from direct product management and you're also leading teams of people. That's super important. So you own the people side of things and you're making sure the team is running efficiently, it's working properly. You need to have a strong management presence and should be comfortable talking to senior leaders and getting work done through them. So these positions are highly paid and an average pay is around 51 to 52 lakhs. A high pay is around 63 to 64 lakhs, and the maximum pay could be around 73 lakhs for this position. As you spend many years as a director, you then get promoted to being a senior product director. And again, this is a lot more focus on leadership. You're looking at the same roles as we talked about earlier, but at a much higher capacity. The pay ranges for this position, it could be around an entry level positions with compensation around 66 lakhs. And you see a big change here. The companies which are high paying would pay you more than 1 crore per year in India. So 1 crore is like a psychological cutoff in India. Very few people get paid more than 1 crore. So you're among the elite group of people who get paid a lot. And your maximum pay for this position typically does not exceed 1.2 crores. So that's how a senior product director is getting paid. And these are very coveted roles. It's very difficult to reach these positions. So you need to spend many years as a director before you become a senior product director. And ideally, a senior product director is someone who is well on the path towards becoming a vice president in the future or a chief product officer. So it's not often that people will get these roles. Then it gets a little tricky after you spend many years as a senior product director because the next position is being a VP of product. In some companies, this is the final role you have. You probably have no further growth beyond this. In very large companies like the multinational companies like Google, Facebook, and so on, there could be levels of VPs like a senior VP, executive VP, and so on, chief technical officer, and so on. But ideally, this is where you are kind of reaching the apex in terms of a career progression. So you own practically everything as a VP. You own the sales, you own the profits, you own the revenues. You look at the profit and loss statement, and you own everything about the business you are in. And you decide how the product team has to work with the rest of the folks within the organization. Large companies have a chief product officer role, and they typically report to the CEO directly. And they're in charge of the big picture product strategy, setting long-term goals, budgeting, just like a VP, budgeting, strategic alignment, communication, a lot of management work and less getting involved in technical details. But still, if there's a major issues, you are supposed to share your perspective. And the only way a VP can be effective in their roles is when they understand what the technical issues are and if they can come up with very good solutions. A pay range for a VP in a tech company in India is pretty high. The average pay is well above 1 crore. It's around 1 crore 3 lakhs, and company, a multinational company, would pay you around 1.24 crores, and the maximum pay for this position is around 1.4 to 1.5 crores. Again, it could depend because at this position is all about the value you bring in, and it could be much more or much less depending on what exactly is your profile and what does the company want from you. So not every company is cut out to be a product focused company. Some of them may just have a product management position without much responsibility. So it all depends on the company in terms of how your career growth is. Okay, folks, so I come to the end of my presentation. So you have to smash the like button and subscribe if you really got something out of this conversation. And if you have been listening to me so far, I'm sure you got something out of it. So do smash the like button and subscribe so that I know that you value this video. And do let me know in the comments below what your questions are so that I can answer your questions.